he looked at my wife and gave her a big smile. And he was doing this. He really loved it. He really loved it. So, the thing is about Rathayatra, like Srila Prabhupada said, if Rathayatra can be performed consistently around the world, this will be the success of his movement and his dream will be fulfilled. Prabhupada said like that. You see? It's like Jayananda Prabhu used to say, there's hundreds of people that come to our temple, but there's thousands of people outside. Isn't it? See? And when Jayananda passed away, nobody really wanted to go through the trouble of putting on Rathayatra, because it is an enormous endeavor to put on Rathayatra. I'm not to do it. Krishna and Prabhupada to do it. But somebody's got to do the work. So I've been doing it for 46 years now, San Francisco Rathayatra. And the San Francisco Rathayatra is very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Why? It's the first Rathayatra outside of India. We have the first Jagannath meetings, that's Samasundra Prabhu, called Malaji, Mataji. She got the little DD from Cause Plus and showed it to Srila Prabhupada at Frederick Street, and then he got the idea. And I should have brought this picture. Our first Rathayatra chariot was a truck. It belonged to the Hell's Angels. Srila Prabhupada told Gurudas, go next door and ask the Hell's Angels if we can use their truck. Gurudas says, you want me to go and ask the Hell's Angels if we can use their truck? Oh. So, I had that picture too. I forgot to bring that picture. It's in a magazine. So that was funny. But the Hells Angels liked us. They really liked us. And okay, so to continue here. What did he say?
If we got the truck, that's what the Hells Angels.
What is it?
Did he got the truck?
Yeah. Yo, the Hells Angels gave us the truck. They gave us the truck. Yeah. What did he say?
He said that he didn't know Hells Angels had trucks. All they had was motorcycles.
No, they had a truck also. They had a truck. And one time they seen some people tearing down the Rathayatra flags, the Hells Angels, and they said, hey, what are you doing? We like that. Don't tear down the Rathayatra flags. So they liked us. They liked us. You see, this is a story I'm going to tell. And Maharaj, this is all about Srila Prabhupada, this story. One day when I was in Mayapur, I was going back to the Calcutta airport to fly back home. So what happened was, my taxi cab broke down 10 miles outside of Mayapur. So what am I going to do? The taxi cab driver says, oh, we're going to get a part and fix it. And I said, like they say in India, they say, any day now just coming. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. So what am I going to do? I'm stuck in the village, 10 miles outside of Mayapur. I tried to get to the Calcutta airport to fly back, home to California. So I was dependent on Krishna. I stuck my thumb out. And this story's about Prabhupada. 3 policemen stopped their car. And the policeman said to me, I'm high-ranking officer. It's my duty to protect American citizens. Get in. I got in the back. So I'm in the back of the police car with the high-ranking officer. And then he's got 2 policemen sitting in the front. And again he says to me, I'm high-ranking officer. These are my bodyguards. They have American diligence guns. I said, okay. Then he said to me, what kind of car do you have? A Lincoln? I said, no. He said when they flew Hillary Clinton to Mother Teresa's funeral, they flew 2 Lincolns into Calcutta. I said, okay. Then he said to me, 10 Commandments, Charles Heston, good movie. I said, okay. So now the people in the village, they're not very educated. They won't get out of the way of the cars. The policeman driving sticks his arm out and starts smacking people. I'm going, oh my God. Right? Now they put the siren on. They brought me 110 miles to Calcutta Airport. And now, you know, they got a good system in India. You cannot get in the airport unless you show your passport first in the building. So when the soldier with the rifle sees me getting dropped off by 2 policemen, I try to show him my passport. He's like, so who's this guy? Is he a diplomat? 3 policemen? But here's the point I'm trying to make. Here's my point. The high-ranking officer said to me, you know, I'm a Muslim, but I like the Hare Krishnas because they feed people. You see that? Why did I get picked up? Because you see the Prabhupada. You see? Because you've been to Mayapur, there's a big sign, and it says, nobody should starve, 10 square miles about temple, go hungry, 10 square miles about temple, right? This is why the man picked me up. I'm not saying Muslims are bad people, there's good and bad in everyone, but they don't take the Krishna consciousness too much. But what he said was, I like the Hare Krishnas because they feed people. See, this is the thing. This is the thing. Because Srila Prabhupada, he taught us how to perform random acts of human kindness. See? Because so far since 2016, and the numbers have gone up, we've given out 3.5 billion plates of free prasadam. Not million, billion. Yeah. And it's because of Srila Prabhupada. And they interviewed me on a very famous Indian radio station last year. About like 1 million Indian people heard it, and some American people heard it. And this is what I was saying on the radio, that liquid Prabhupada gave us. See, the thing is, Srila Prabhupada did not just give us the 4 regulated principles. What he gave us is a new way of life, you see? And we should be eternally grateful for that. And how do we show our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada? How do we do that? By maintaining the temples, maintaining the festivals. That's how we show our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. Because what he did was amazing. I mean, to come to New York City in the middle of the winter, he'd never seen snow, with 2 devotees, and $5 or $6 in his pocket, and look what happened. All he did was chant Hare Krishna and Thompson Park, and look what happened. We got houses of temple. And of course, July the 11th, right, Maharaj? July the 11th is the incorporation of Iskcon, isn't it? I think it was 66, I think, right? In New York City. And so Prabhupada was so bold, even though he had a little storefront, what did he do? Prabhupada was thinking big. He said, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. See? You don't think small, you think big. You see? Just like there's always going to be 1 or 2 individuals that are going to say, and they've said it to me also, oh, Jagannath Swami Das, why don't you have 1 chariot? It's too much money to have 3 chariots. And I say to them, well, Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to London Temple in 74, and he said, now you must have spiritual competition with San Francisco and have 3 chariots. That's why I have 3 chariots. Or they say to me, Golden Gate Park, I gotta give them a check. I already paid them $23,000 one day, Golden Gate Park. I said, Prabhupada didn't care about Golden Gate Park. He just wanted the Rathayatra to be in San Francisco. And then I said, really? Is that why Srila Prabhupada said, can we buy Golden Gate Park? Yeah, he said it. He said it. So, you cannot put a price tag on Srila Prabhupada's legacy. Right? You can't do it. This is what I say to the donors. They spent $1 million to have a Thanksgiving Macy's parade for what? Having a giant turkey balloon, having a giant Ronald McDonald balloon, right? So if they can spend that, why can't we spend even $1 million to hold our Rathayatra for Jagannath and Srila Prabhupada, isn't it? So you can't put a price tag on Prabhupada's legacy. When I first started to organize and fundraise for Rathayatra 46 years ago, it was only $8,000 to put on Rathayatra. And now it's over $80,000. But it's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much it costs. Because anyone that sees Lord Jagannath passing the front or behind is guaranteed a higher birthday. That's life. So, and even the police in every city, they say, when there's a Rathayatra in their city, there's less crime. See, because why? Because when you chant Hare Krishna, everything is peaceful. You see? So, who's ever organizing this festival deserves a lot of credit. Because it's a huge endeavor, and they just had their first Rathayatra in Sacramento last year, and I helped them. And I gave some advice to the devotee that was helping to organize it. I told him, if you don't wake up 1 o'clock in the morning and think about how you're going to do the Rathayatra, you're not the right person for the job. Okay? Because you can't sleep at night. 2-3 days before, I call it the Rathayatra fever. You get the Rathayatra fever. You're always thinking about Rathayatra. You can't sleep at night. It just, your mind is always going. It never stops. And that's what it takes. You gotta be totally absorbed. I don't want to do as much as I do for the Rathayatra, but I find through experience, if I don't do the important jobs, they won't get done. So I have to do all the permits, I gotta do all the rentals, I gotta direct the parade, I have to do all the organizations, I have to collect all the money, because the important jobs, I find it won't get done. So I do have to do more than I would like to, but it's okay, because it's all about, doing it for Lord Jagannath and Srila Prabhupada. What else? One time, there was a news reporter. This is when we got to Berkeley Temple. We moved from San Francisco to Berkeley in 1974, January the 12th. And Jayananda was responsible for getting the temple. Because Bhakti guys had $50,000 down, and the Berkeley temple was pretty close to UC Berkeley. So this is how we got it. So one day, it's about 2 days before the Rathayatra, and Srila Prabhupada was sitting down giving a class. A news reporter said to Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, why such a big chariot? Like, what's the big deal? Srila Prabhupada looked at the news reporter and said, so, you think God should sit in a small chariot? So he had all the answers, And this chariot, this Rathayatra festival in San Francisco, was personally initiated by Srila Prabhupada. So it's very dear to Srila Prabhupada, San Francisco. It's the first one. It's like the mother of all Rathayatras. If it wasn't for San Francisco Rathayatra, we wouldn't really have any Rathayatras in North America at all. Because this is where it started. And it doesn't matter how much it costs, again, because you can't put a price tag on Prabhupada's legacy and Lord Jagannath. So we need to continue it all the time. So I'm very happy to be here. It's my first time I'm here in Montreal. And I'm happy to be here with Bhakti Mark Swami and all the devotees here. And your temple treasurer here, very kind to put me up here. I appreciate him and his wife, nice devotees, put me up in their house. And I guess it's going to be a pretty nice day for the festival here. I think it's going to be a little warm today. You know, we had a warming trend also in California. It's been a heat wave. Let's see if there's anything else I can add to what I'm saying here. Any questions about anything? Or anybody have any questions about anything at all? Maharaj?
I just want to make a comment that Montreal is very significant to the movement because Prabhupada, when he had visa issues in the U.S., he came to Montreal and he stayed for a good 6 weeks or so, and so it became the third temple that he opened in Iskcon after Montreal and San Francisco. What's that?
What's the temple in Canada, Montreal?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and the Montreal hosted the big world fair. It was called Expo, and it was in 1967. Canada had turned 100 years old. So the whole world came here. Really, people from all over the world came to Montreal to have fun, I guess. And the devotees came here from the States in 67. There was kirtan going on. Devotees were very active with having on the streets. And a lot of people were old-timers. They started the worship consciousness, first met devotees here in Montreal. And so it's kind of significant that way. And Prabhupada did spend some time here. He did go up on Mount Royal to do some chapra. He was observing how the people are. He said, we should have lots of prasad. That's what we told him. That we should be serving lots of prasad to people here. He also stayed in a house which is near McGill University. And devotees go there every year at Labor Day weekend. Isn't it this year? We go there every year to the house where he stayed. And we were surprised to find out that the person who lived there with his family, I think they moved. He's a music teacher at McGill. And he was connected with Mahavishnu. What was the name of it? The famous music group, John McLaughlin and the Mahavishnu band. You may not know that they were really big.
Oh, yeah.
And so devotees go there, we chant there, and have a nice recollection of Prabhupada's pastimes here and there, and we have kirtan. So anyways, it's a significant place for us. A lot of devotees were paid at that time. I had the good fortune to interview one of those devotees who first met Prabhupada, Krishna consciousness, here in this city. Hare Krishna. Yes?
I just want to say something about the expo. I heard this from, I can't remember where it's from, but what I've heard is that the devotees, because they were doing the expo, they were doing it's like an international cultural presentation in different countries. And when they come about to India, they didn't have much about India.
Oh, yeah.
And it's why they had the Harinam party in front of the Indian booth exhibit. And they paid the devotees to keep chanting there.
Oh, is that right? That's great. Yeah.
Just to make sure they had something about India.
Yeah. The interesting thing about India, India was just, so it was less than 20 years that India got free from that partition time, that horrible historical time. Most of us heard about the Second World War, impacted people, even in North America. But India was the partition years, and India was just getting over being ravaged by the British and other foreigners. And it was just getting its act together. And in those days, all those talks were about whatever he said about India. Everywhere, all over the world, India is known as a begging nation because it was made poor, it became impoverished by the British. But now it's not like that anymore. It's a powerful nation. It's culturally strong, rich, and of course a lot of people from India are coming here these days to Canada to fill up our colleges and universities, and they bring with them a lot of, Shakti, intelligence. We're very happy about that. So it's worth to say. Maybe we'll have to sort of terminate, I think. Anybody else want anything to say? I'm not a leader here, to be honest with you, but I guess because the local devotees are very busy, therefore I'm taking some responsibility, MC a little bit. Anything else? I was just kind of curious about the connection. Swami does. Do you know anything about the connection between Jesus, Jagannath, San Francisco, Rathayatra, and the West? Do you have anything you'd like to say about that?
And so, also, it's very important that we always acknowledge Srila Prabhupada as founder of Acharya. We're going to have our first GBC Temple President's meeting in person since the pandemic. And they asked me what I want to put on the agenda. And what I said is, we have to remember every time we make a flyer or poster, any kind of event that a temple makes anywhere in the world, we always should put Founder Acharya on a poster or a flyer. Now, Guru Das told me, I know Guru Das, he's one of the Prabhupada's earliest disciples. I've known him since '73. And he told me that he was going to announce Srila Prabhupada, introduce him at some event one time. There's, thousands of people there. And Guru Das forgot to introduce Srila Prabhupada as founder Acharya when he introduced him at an event with a big audience. He told me Srila Prabhupada didn't speak to him for 3 days. Okay? So, when you make a flyer, you should always acknowledge Founder Acharya. So here's our flyer right here. And on the top, you have Srila Prabhupada's picture. And it says Founder Acharya. Okay? It's very important. I said the same thing to, I'm not afraid to say it either. If I have something to say, I will say it. That's how I am. That's how I am. I said the same thing to anybody, any other temple that sends me a Rathayatra flyer, and I don't see Prabhupada's name on it, I will tell him. We need to acknowledge Srila Prabhupada on the flyer or the poster. You got to do that, because without Srila Prabhupada, we wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be here talking, There would have been no, Tamal Krishna, there would have been no Vishnu John, there would have been no Jayananda, there would have been no Bhakti Marg Swami. There would have
been no prasada.
there would have been no prasada. there would have been nothing, you know? So we owe everything to Srila Prabhupada. Like I said again, he didn't just give us the 4 regulated principles. What he gave us is a new way of life. That's what he gave us. And so we got to be, you know, we're all eating, you know. I know when I became a vegetarian when I was 16, that's before I was a devotee. And coming from an Italian family, my father said, no, okay, I'll take the spaghetti, but no more meatballs, okay? And my father said to me, you don't eat meat for real? He said, you need blood. I said, I got my own blood. He said, you need blood. And I said, I got my own blood. And even then, before I became a devotee, I knew how disgusting it was to eat meat. I remember my father would say, clean the meat off those bones. And I went, oh, clean the meat off the bones. So, you know, a lot of devotees became vegetarians because of Srila Prabhupada. I was lucky because I kind of knew along from the start that eating meat was not a good thing. Vegetarians are more, how can you say, more inclined for spiritual life when you're vegetarian. But then again, Srila Prabhupada said we shouldn't be proud of being vegetarian because the pigeons are vegetarians also. And they have sex life 100 times a day. So we shouldn't be proud of being vegetarian. But it's a good thing to be a vegetarian and not to eat meat. Because the 4 regulated principles, no eating meat, fish, eggs, no illicit sex, no gambling, and what's the other one? No gambling, no intoxication. See, for the devotees, this is not a principle. And don't think about the principles as principles. And somebody might say to me, what are you talking about? No, think about the principle as a way of life. See, if you live it, it's not a principle. It becomes a way of life. It's not something that you have to do. It's something that you want to do. You live it. You see what I'm saying? So, because it's not natural to be intoxicated. If you really want to get high, what does it mean? Connecting with God, connecting with Srila Prabhupada, right? When I came through customs yesterday in the airport, they said to me, "You have any food? You going to a farm? Do you have any weed?" I said, "No." I said, "I get high from life, from God." You see? So again, Srila Prabhupada gave us a new way of life, not just the principles. And we have Srila Prabhupada's Murti, his deity here. Srila Prabhupada is still here with us. He's not gone. When the devotees were feeling separation from Srila Prabhupada in New York City, because Srila Prabhupada went to San Francisco, with Mukunda and Goswami and everything to open up San Francisco temple. And the devotees were feeling Srila Prabhupada's separation in New York, which went to San Francisco, and they wrote Srila Prabhupada, saying, "We're feeling your separation." And Srila Prabhupada would go back and say, "My instruction is more important than my physical association." That's what he said. So Srila Prabhupada's still here. He's still here in his books. He said, "I will never die, I'll live forever," in my books. He's here in his books. He's here in instructions. Because Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master is not the body. The spiritual master is the principle and the spirit. So Srila Prabhupada is always with us. He's always with us. So don't think for 1 minute that Srila Prabhupada is not with us. And in a way, everybody Sometimes I get in trouble for saying that. And because when I get devotees initiated, I always say, you're also Prabhupada's disciple. Because if your guru has some trouble and falls down, they won't leave the movement, they'll keep worshiping Prabhupada. Isn't it, Maharaj? Isn't it? So I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not talking about being illiterate. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that. That's a big controversy. But, you know, he is the founder, Acharya, and he's everyone's guru, really. Okay? So I guess we're running out of time. We're out of time. And thank you for, Maharaj, thank you for allowing me to speak. I appreciate it. Jai Guru Shiva Prabhupada ki Lord Jagannath Rathayatra ki Montreal Rathayatra ki Bhakti Mark Swami ki He's too humble, that's okay. I understand.
Prashadam will be upstairs, is what it says. And get yourself ready after that. Does everybody know